Okay, Steven.
Hey there, Tim. Are you ready for the next review?
Probably won't need this outfit again. Yeah, totally 150,000% ready.
Well, that's great, man. See you soon.
See ya. Hey. Alright, time to go get the guys. Wow.
Well, that trip could have gone better.
Sorry, I'm still not used to the new screwdriver.
What happened to your old one?
I lost it?
You lost the key item to your time travel?
Okay, Tyler, you know what? We all make mistakes, and you don't see me judging you.
I think we got another problem on our hands. You two forgot something.
I don't feel like I forgot anything.
Is it something noticeable?
I'm sure it's not a big deal. Let's get to work. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Given how we're out of Star Wars prequels, it seems only logical that we talk about George Lucas next in the context of another franchise he launched, Indiana Jones.
With his good friend Steven Spielberg directing and Harrison Ford returning to play Indiana Jones, there was a lot of promise to this film, and people were excited.
Alas, the movie was met with a fair bit of disappointment and subpar reviews, cementing the idea with many fans that George Lucas could no longer do right by anything.
Until about 2010, when I first jumped into the online rabbit hole that is internet reviewing, I had trouble understanding, and still do occasionally, about why people hate this movie as much as they do. But suffice to say, I am much more well learned in the art of movies now than I used to be. So I figure now's a good time to go back, watch this movie, and see how it holds up for me. This is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The movie begins when the Paramount logo turns into a dirt mound housing a CGI prairie dog. Because apparently two of Hollywood's most successful filmmakers of all time could not afford a real prairie dog. After humoring some teenagers, military personnel drive up to Area 51, one of the most mysterious and highly classified military complexes of all time.
The Pentagon sent out revised...
That was easy.
Once outside the warehouse they plan to search, two men are yanked from the trunk, leading to a good reveal of our main character.
Russians.
You recognize building, yes?
Drop dead. I'm sorry. I meant drop dead comrade.
So far, so good. Next, we are introduced to Dr. Irina Spalko, a colonel for the Soviet Union and a telepath.
Now, what I need to know now is in here.
Where is it?
You're a hard man to read, Dr. Jones. Object we seek. Rectangular storage container. Dimensions 2 meters by 1/2 meter by 66 centimeters. Contents of box, mummified remains.
Even if
You will help us find it.
Indy tracks the crate they seek with gunpowder. When they get it open, more metal objects are attracted to it. That implies that the intense magnetic properties were stopped by the wood somehow. Yet, the gunpowder still flew across the room towards it. Indie movies don't usually get this weird until much further in.
While they're distracted by some alien corpse, Indy punches the guy holding his whip, who is foolishly standing within punching distance, and gets a gun. Then Indy threatens Spalko with the assistance of his associate Mac.
Why, Mac?
Well, what can I say, Jonesy? I'm a capitalist. And they pay.
We're 15 minutes in, and he's barely spoken. Do you really expect us to care? I guess it's better than killing him like the guy in the Temple of Doom. Plan B comes into play, and we get an action scene featuring an aged and slower Indiana Jones, who's still got some solid moves.
He's not to get out of your life. Block the exit!
Yep. The first movie sure did happen.
Indy escapes into a nearby town, but quickly realizes that something is off.
Wait a minute. Oh, that can't be good.
So he survives this by hiding in a refrigerator. One can imagine the thought process. They need to show that Indiana Jones is still awesome for his big comeback. But there is no explanation that can justify the lengths gone to in order to make it happen.
To any who would say that the lead-lined fridge would protect from radiation, Indy got out of the fridge. There's your radiation right there. And even if it wasn't a nuclear explosion, taking a tumble like that in the fridge would easily, well, you know.
I think I've broken every bone in my body!
Instead, Indy's given a once-over by the hazmat team before being interrogated by the FBI, who apparently recruited the janitor from Scrubs.
I was in a Harrison Ford movie, but you know what? I chose this life instead because it's a little more glamorous.
The topic at hand? Indy helping the Soviets.
You aided and abetted KGB agents who broke into a top-secret military installation in the middle of the United States.
Dr. Jones, let's just say for now that you are of interest to the Bureau.
Of great interest.
That kind of bites.
Big whoop, Indy's just a college professor. They could just keep an eye on him as he teaches his classes and make sure that he avoids any more crazy adventures. But then there'd be no movie, and wouldn't that just be a shame? So they had to fire him to make the plot keep moving.
What?
The university isn't going to get itself embroiled in that kind of controversy. Not in this charged climate.
You are firing
During
me.
which they've agreed to continue to pay your full salary for
I
a
don't
period...
want their money.
You don't know what I had to go through to get that for
You
you.
went through.
What exactly did you have to go through, Charlie?
Henry, I resigned.
After a quick scene reminding us that Sean Connery won't be in this movie, Indy gets on a train to go teach elsewhere.
If he wants peace, he better hurry before the secondary protagonist pulls him back into the plot.
Hey, old man!
Ooh, so close. This is Mutt Williams, played by Shia LaBeouf. When it comes to unpopular decisions made in filmmaking, I usually try to play Angel's advocate, so let's give this performance another chance. Harold Oxley, an old friend of Indy's and Mutt's guardian, has been kidnapped while looking for the titular crystal skull.
The legend says that a crystal skull was stolen from Agator in the 15th or 16th century, and that whoever returns the skull to the city temple will be given control over its power.
From his letter, my mom thought the ox was off his rocker. Smog in the noggin, so she goes down there to find him. Only he'd already been kidnapped. Now they got her too.
Alas, the KGB is following them, so Indy gets Mutt to instigate a distraction.
Here, hold this. What?
That's my boyfriend! Get that, greaser!
Followed by a motor vehicle chase. Everyone makes a big deal that this scene is done without CGI. That does make it feel pretty visceral, but I also love it because this is how it ends.
I just had a question on Hargrove's normative culture model.
Forget Hargrove. Read Ver Gordon Child on diffusionism. He spent most of his life in the field.
Want to be a good archaeologist? You gotta get out of the library!
After translating the letter from Oxley, the two fly to Nazca, Peru to look for the skull. Yay, that thing from the other movies.
You quit school?
Oh yeah, sure, tons of them.
What do you do for money?
Fix motorcycles?
Gonna do that for the rest of your life?
Maybe I will. Teach? You got a problem with that?
Not if that's what you love doing. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Write that down, everyone. It will be discussed later.
What are you, a professor?
Well, I am the college graduate.
I graduated college too.
Yeah, from a 2-year program. I got a bachelor's degree.
Guys, you both graduated. The semantics really aren't that important.
Don't get involved, Mr. Senior Year.
You'll understand when you're older.
I'm older than both of you.
And you haven't graduated yet because you lack our knowledge.
Then enlighten me, O wise ones. How's student loan debt treating you? That's what I thought. Indy and Mutt follow a trail of clues that lead them to Oriana's graveyard, where they are attacked.
You're a teacher?
Part-time.
I really love that line. The delivery could use some work.
Through some more plot convenience magnetism, they find the crystal skull. And then the Russians find them, taking them to their camp in Ila Aramaka, where he is reunited with Mac as well as Harold Oxley.
You're faking it, right?
Through eyes at last I saw in tears.
Ox, listen to me, pal.
Indy is exposed to the skull by Spalko in the hopes of awakening a part of Indy's brain that will allow him to interpret Oxley's deranged ramblings.
Return.
Also, another reunion.
Indiana Jones.
Yay, that lady from the first movie.
3 times it drops. The way down. Ox. It's me, Ox. Hey, look at me. Look at me. It's me. It's me.
Say what you will about LaBeouf's performance as a whole, that moment was pretty touching.
Unable to bear it any longer, Mutt makes a motion to escape.
Kid, what the hell are we doing,
They're
kid?
gonna kill us.
Well, maybe.
Somebody had to do something.
But something else would have been good.
At least I got a plan.
Alas, Indy and Marion ruin it by getting stuck in a
dry sand pit.
I'm sinking,
Quicksand
but I'm
is a
calm.
mix of sand, mud, and water, and depending on the viscosity, it's not as dangerous as people
Oh, for
sometimes
Pete's sake,
think.
Jones, we're not in school.
This she says right before dropping the biggest knowledge bomb of all.
Get off his back about school.
But,
Not everybody's cut out for it.
his name is Henry.
Henry, good name.
He's your son.
Why the hell didn't you make him finish school?
Alright everybody, take out your notes. It's time to discuss that scene from earlier. It's played for comedy, but that sentiment is rife with hypocrisy. What he said earlier was that Mutt should be true to himself. I can understand fatherly instincts suddenly kicking in with this new information, but it shouldn't change how Indy feels regarding what he already knows about Mutt.
As if that couldn't make Indy look bad enough. He makes a fool of himself based on what Mutt brings to pull him out of the sand.
Grab the snake!
Stop calling it that!
It's a snake. What do you want me to call it?
Hey, rope!
Grab the rope. Hold tight. It's slimy.
Good work, Ox. Thanks.
Hell, I think we both knew, Marion, it wasn't gonna work.
You didn't know that. Why didn't you ever talk to me about it?
Because we never had an argument, I won.
Oh, come on, what's the point of this?
Why are you bothering to tell me now?
Because I thought we were gonna die.
Not yet.
Oh, it's a distraction. Kinda.
There were a few, but they all had the same problem. They weren't you, honey.
This quickly turns into an elaborate car chase through the jungle, which begets a very scattered series of events. First, another big plot twist.
You stupid son of a bitch! I'm CIA! I almost screamed it at you in the tent. I said, just like Berlin. What were we in Berlin, mate?
Double agents!
With a scene as loud and fast-paced as this, that's kind of not a good moment to drop that sort of information. Second, A sword fight breaks out. My brain tells me this is a highly illogical choice. My heart tells me, sword fight, yes! Third, Shia LaBeouf rejoins his people. No animals were harmed in the making of this movie? I mean, they weren't. They're all CG.
Then we get Indy's straightforward punch fight against the Muscle. On the camera? Having retrieved the skull and each other, the good guy gang rides a raft.
3 times it drops.
Considering that the water was a good cushion for their fall, that's not entirely implausible. Still a bit of a stretch, but the Temple of Doom had this. So this is still kinda forgivable. Okay, no. They should be even more dead than Sony's plan for the Amazing Spider-Man franchise.
As they approach the Temple of Akator, they are attacked by the natives, who have apparently been waiting on intruders for quite some time.
Hold this!
Nice callback. But lo and behold, Max double-crossing them again.
So what are you, a triple agent?
Nah, I just lied about being a double.
You tricked Indy into believing you were CIA, but then betrayed him once again, showing you were working with the Russians. So you're not lying. That's a textbook definition of what a double agent does. Plays one side while serving the other.
And this kind of betrayal is something Indy should be used to by now. Spalko arrives, returns the crystal skull to the one skeleton missing its head, and demands to know everything there is to know.
Tell me. I'm ready. I want to know.
What are they, spacemen?
Interdimensional beings, in point of fact.
We'll get to that one later. Spalko can't handle the amount of knowledge being funneled into her head, causing her to explode.
Indy also tries to save Mac.
I'm gonna be alright.
There's no solid proof that indicates that. Also, you betrayed Indy twice, and you have no distinct character. So screw you anyway.
Where did they go? Space?
Not into space. Into the space between spaces.
That answers nothing. It just raises more questions.
The Uga word for gold translates as treasure. But their treasure wasn't gold, it was knowledge. Knowledge was their treasure.
Considering that treasure just killed a woman before your eyes, you're awfully smiley. But who cares about resolving the plot? Let's just put things in play for a happy ending.
Why don't you stick around, Junior?
I don't know. Why didn't you, Dad?
Oh, that was vicious.
Our movie comes to an end with Indiana Jones being made the new dean of the college he works for. Further, he and Marion finally get married. Once again, baggage and dirty laundry get a pass through off-screen resolution. And that is why we are getting an Indiana Jones 5. So that was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Starting with the defense, as I think I should, I don't think this was a very bad movie.
I think Mutt Williams made a good foil for Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford did a good job reprising the character, and for the time period, I liked the idea of aliens as the focus. The movie had some good action-adventure moments, a lighthearted sense of humor, and overall, it was still a pretty fun time. It's probably worthy to note that I've never been a super fan of the Indiana Jones movies, so that's probably part of the reason why I didn't feel the colossal betrayal that a lot of fans did.
The argument could be made that this movie isn't bad, just mediocre compared to the first 3 films. We're given things that we liked about the Indiana Jones movies, but the execution seemed off. It was known that Steven Spielberg wanted the series to end with The Last Crusade, but directed this movie the best that he could out of loyalty to George Lucas, his best friend. That, and the years it spent in development, probably led to an overly workshop product that played it too safe and didn't bring the full intensity or grit of the previous movies to the table.
And then there are a few things that this movie nuked the fridge on. For example, coining the term, nuked the fridge. We got Mac, an indie companion who was all backstory and little character, and several moments that served to take people out of the experience due to the sheer weirdness of the moments. But the bigger issue was regarding the plot's main drive, the aliens. Previous films tended to put their focus on archaeology in a religious context, grounding them partially in some interpretation of reality. Crystal skulls and interdimensional theory do exist, and they were given a status of something resembling religion. For one reason or another, these plot devices did not feel like they carried as much weight as artifacts from the previous movies. And when the backbone of your movie isn't very strong, the rest of the movie tends to crumble around it.
And amidst that crumbled foundation, we found some plot holes to discuss. How was Mutt able to catch up to the cars by swinging on vines? By this point, both cars were driving parallel to the face of a cliff. Mutt swung on the vines down a shorter diagonal route until he met up with them. So it is possible, it would just take a ridiculously precise sense of timing. Why didn't Indy take more precautions while Mac was traveling with them? Even if he did claim to be a double agent for the CIA, Mac spent most of the movie not on Indy's side. At the very least, Indy should have taken his gun away. Further, the group should have spent some time watching Mac to make sure he wasn't doing anything suspicious. So now that business is taken care of, what you guys forgot were your fedoras.
I didn't exactly forget it.
Then what happened to it?
What you say? That you only meant when
I lost it.
Would this be about the same time you lost your other sonic screwdriver?
What of it? Why are you guys judging me today?
And Tyler, what happened to your fedora?
It got small.
Oh. Wait a minute, you used it last review.
My head got bigger.
In the course of 2 months.
Weirder things have happened.
I am surrounded by idiots.
Who's more foolish, the fools or the one who keeps company of the fools?
Touché.
I'm sorry. I meant drop-dead comrade.